Morning, world. I'm Ricky Spencer, one third of the Raise the Bar podcast. I'm here with my brother to discuss trust and what that looks like for us. And we'd love to hear your feedback after we have this conversation, just to kind of dig in with this and see where we can go and how we can build trust amongst each other. And then I'll pass over to my brother to introduce himself.
Good morning, world. Bryce Spencer, another one third of Raise the Bar. Thank you for joining us. And we're going to dig in and dive into this topic of trust and just kind of give our opinions and look at how this word means to us, and just kind of dissect it a little bit. I'm gonna pass it on to my other brother.
Yeah. Good morning, world. Hope everybody's doing well. It's the Saturday, the 12th before Valentine's Day, so hope you all are looking forward to a loving weekend spent with your significant other, or spend some time loving on yourself. It's always necessary. And I look forward to going into depth on what trust looks like within the community, trusting in yourself, trusting in higher power, all that. And I think we might have some good perspectives to share with you guys, but always happy to hear your feedback and, know what you think. So if you, feel so inclined, please do subscribe so you can get more videos, notifications when we drop conversations in the future, and share some feedback. Drop it in the comment section. And I look forward to this. I'll throw it back over to you, Rick. Get it started, man. I trust in your leadership to kick this off strong.
Right.
So for me, just in my point of view, my perspective of trust, is kind of, what are we really looking at? How do you build that trust? What is your belief system? What are you holding yourself accountable? As we go throughout life, you have the opportunity. I think of life as this clean slate. We have the opportunity. We're all artists in our own way. So we have this clean slate or this white canvas, and we have the ability to engage in our interactions and our challenges and kind of decide how we choose to look at them. Me personally, I like to look and observe. And through my observations, I see how consistent it is for people to react to certain things. And then just trusting, is that really the honest point of view that you should have throughout that experience, and just dissecting it. And more so, just even when it comes to family, we have these opportunities where you trust in someone, and that level of accountability that we have with each other. Like, how do we live up and hold ourselves accountable and believe that we can accomplish what they're asking us to do? And just, I guess you could say, just what does that look like for all of us? And just having this conversation, I think, is really powerful, just to, as we continue to go on, just level up our level of trust. And how do we gain that trust with each other?
Okay. Give me an example, Rick. I'm curious, just like on the family, when you brought that up, I felt like you had a story playing through your head of a time that you trusted in family to show up, and hopefully you weren't let down. But yeah, walk me through.
So I guess the one that resonates the strongest with me is just being the oldest brother. I didn't have the opportunity to have someone being an older brother. So I didn't really know what it looked like to be an older brother. Mm-hmm. So going through those experiences and just kind of realizing, who do I need to be in order to help lead my younger brothers? Like, it's easy just to think about self and just do what's right for me. But then being mindful in those moments of understanding that I have two younger brothers following behind me. So how can I really decide what's best for me, but also know that they're watching me? Mm-hmm. And then I had to kind of just watch older men or older cousins or even older friends, just how they navigated and how I saw that they were older brothers, just being mindful of how they reacted. And I mean, we both know who this person is. We had Mario, who lived in the court across the street from us.
Yep.
So me and Mario was a little bit older than me, but we were around the same age. But he had an older brother, George. Mm-hmm. And so just seeing the dynamics of them being older brother, younger brother, and seeing how they operated, it kind of made me realize that, yeah, George kind of leads in a way that you have to be respectable. And then we all know older George, his father, he was a great man. Mm-hmm. Rest in peace, sure. George Ama. But just, they kind of led the fabric of how the family dynamics work, and just having the opportunity to observe and be around them. It was really dynamic, and just kind of helped mold me to be able to understand who I need to be and how I need to carry myself as an older brother. And I believe that translated down to Bryce and then also Royce and being the younger brother. And I guess that's another thing. I don't really know what it feels like to be a younger brother. Like, I know what it feels like to be an older brother, but what does it feel like to be that younger brother looking up to the older brother?
Yeah, I would be willing to say I think it's easier to be the younger brother, just to be all the way up front with you, because you just get a clear example of what to do and what not to do, just by sheer results. But even beyond that, something you mentioned, it's easy to be all about self when, you know, you have a younger sibling or someone who's watching you as a role model. Not only is it easier, it's just natural. I mean, sometimes I think parents, and I don't think our parents did it, but some press upon their children, like, you got to be the example. You need to be doing everything right because your younger sibling is watching. And I think that's not the best way to approach, you know, raising children, because that's pressure that they didn't ask for. It's just right. Like you can almost make your oldest resent being, you know, an older sibling. But instead, I think it's important for just presenting the idea that you get to be a role model. You get to lead and show your younger siblings how to do things. And really, that's the beginning of a long life of leadership, hopefully, for you to be in that position to show how things are done and watch how you've shared some sort of skill or, you know, a personality trait. Watch it kind of blossom into this, you know, another leader in the community. I think that's probably a good way. And I think mom and dad put that up on us, put that up on you guys. What do you think, Bryce? Coming from, you know, being an older brother and a younger brother.
I've had both pleasures of being both. So I think it's that like you said, being that first for one is just being in a position to do something first. So you're automatically a leader. I can imagine the pressure it may have on you, because it's like, hey, who's my leader? Who's going to kind of show me the ropes and go? So I think at some point the instincts kick in, and that's where I think it circles back to trust. You have to trust those instincts. You have to trust, like, you know, I'm taking this swing at it and I'm gonna go with it. I'm gonna flow with it, and I'm going to, you know, you have your parents, of course, and you have other elders that you can kind of look up to, and they'll kind of give you that nod of gratification and, you know, clarification to that this is what you're supposed to be doing, or not, this ain't what you're supposed to be doing. So it's a big weight for sure, but I think it's just all about trusting those instincts, trusting that gut, listening to yourself, listen to that inner self tell you what feels right, and, you know, you just go with that notion for sure. And when you feel it, when you know, you'll know it's wrong. I think the body and the mind, you know, will tell you, if not others, it's definitely your social group, your peer group, your family, that let you know, should let you know at least.
Yeah, should. Emphasis on that. Kind of, you got to trust that you have a circle around you that's going to tell you when you're doing things right and wrong. I think that's really important for folks who are looking to become a leader or influential in their circle, to have people around you that are going to kind of nudge you in the right direction, and the ability to trust in those. I think it's really challenging when you don't feel like you have individuals around you who can guide you to be, you know, the person that you want to become. I think
exactly,
it's really challenging.
And then also, if you're quiet enough and patient enough, you can also learn what not to trust. Because a lot of times you can watch how people stereotypically react to certain things, but then you also, if you're patient enough, you can see what doesn't work. And even just observing certain things, you can see that, yeah, I notice every time that such and such situation happens, they get all worked up, and you kind of just, I'm curious. I stay curious like I was when I was a kid, just wondering, like, why are they so irritated right now? And then just realizing when you allow that irritation to settle in, you're honestly giving your power away to that other individual, because now you're reacting to what they're doing. And it's like, but how could we channel that? If you could look at it in a different way, you're no longer reacting to that situation. Maybe you're just trying to need to focus on understanding it. And as you understand it, you could better tackle it as opposed to, oh, this situation's happened again and I'm reacting to it. Well, maybe you're just not trusting in how you need to look at it, because the way you're looking at it is creating this chemical reaction in you that has you all irate, uncomfortable, and what have you. How do you get control of that? 100%. That's the most important question.
I think it starts with honing your senses, understanding when you are getting emotionally charged up by something in a negative way. It's important to have that center. I think meditation helps me. Mindfulness, just kind of focusing on breathing and watching my attention be drawn somewhere else, and then kind of recenter it. That gives me that muscle that keeps me centered when something might be challenging me or insulting me. And, you know, the natural reaction is to give, you know, the same reaction. One reaction, you know, causes another. One force can, you know, bring that force right back. But instead, believing that I have a higher power, you know, the ability to take something and then, you know, it doesn't have the power to move me. I think it's important to trust in your ability to stay centered when something tries you, because people are going to try you, situations are going to try you, and it's, you know, it's really to your benefit to not let it phase you. Protect your peace. I always say that. We always say that because it's invaluable, I think.
Yeah, I was thinking too. Just another, I think, key important factors, having that quality and ability of good judgment, showing that good judgment and displaying you are well informed and just identifying who is trustworthy. That, you know, that displays a quality. You're more than likely going to that you are someone that can be confided in and trusted, like in their choices. You know, you don't want to look up to someone or follow behind and take lead of being behind someone who's inability of making good decisions, good life choices. And when you see all those different factors and variables, it kind of will incline you to want to trust in that person. You know, this person's about business. They make good decisions. And, you know, say if I need an advice or opinion or whatever the case may be, I feel like this person has made decent choices. You know, we're all humans. We're all flawed. We all fall down. But how do we get back up? How do we, you know, take lead again and rebound from that? And I think that's a very, just being mindful of that. And just, like I said, just having that good judgment of character, you know, is huge in everyone's life, because you don't want anyone in your life that's making bad decisions and you following suit, you know? So.
Yeah, I think that's where it can be challenging, where people might look like they have it all figured out. They, you know, they dress sharp and, you know, they have the material things, but if you can't quite tell from the outside looking in where they're accumulating all these, you know, these things, it can be a risk to try and, you know, get in close, because they might just be making a living off of scamming and
blowing smoke.
Blowing smoke and get you coming close, and then you the next lick. It's, you know, you have to trust in your gut to, you know, assess situations. Don't be naive, and then ask questions to try and figure out. Like you said, people might have some knowledge, some game for you, some free game to share.
Sure, right.
And that very well might be a path that you can take. But so I just really want to stress that don't be out here naive, just jumping into these get rich quick schemes. You got to keep it real. Like, if they're telling you that it can happen fast and it's easy, they're probably lying to you. You know, there are some situations that can feel like they happen overnight, but you got to put in that work most of the time. I mean, I think all of us here are doing relatively well, and it may have come a little bit easier than we anticipated originally because God-given gifts, or, you know, just being raised well. But I don't know if you guys would say like it's been easy to just continue to build up I think it's challenging in its own way, but it eventually starts to become this routine, this habit that, you know, it does kind of become second nature to just wake up and get to it, but it ain't easy.
Yeah, you just put that, you've created what we don't understand what we do to ourselves. So we create this blueprint that we really follow in pretty much all aspects of our lives. And it's not going to be the same identical one, but it's like man, it's just like what am I saying, a formula that can be applied to different areas, whatever you're into, personal, hobbies, life, or work and business. And, you know, like you said, get into it. You're going to use that same drive, that same determination and motivation. And that's another part of just basically trusting yourself, which you are going to apply. And you may not have it all figured out. None of us do, but you know, there's going to be some result because of what you're putting in, with the input that you're putting in and investing in, that the results are just, you know, they're going to come. It's
I'm sorry to cut you off. I didn't mean to jump in, but I literally was just reading a book last night. It's called Limitless by Jim Quick. And he talks about how to change a habit. And like you said, there's literally a formula to it. I was doing it in my head and it was crazy because a page later, he said the same thing that I was thinking before he mentioned it in the book. And it's a routine plus timing equals a new habit. So if you want to have a new habit, if you want to start creating, you know, a new life, you literally have to have a routine with good timing. Because if you think about it, if you have a good routine with bad timing, say you want to exercise more, you want to get in shape, still around the new year. If you're trying to exercise in the middle of the night, that's bad timing. It's a good routine, but it's bad timing. You're going to mess with sleep and you're going to mess with your productivity and probably not going to have a good diet because your sleep schedule is all over the place. So the routine is good, but timing's bad. Now, let's say you have good timing, but a bad routine. If you are eating, but you're eating right before bed, then that's a bad habit. You're eating healthy, maybe, but still, if you're eating right before you go to sleep, your stomach's going to be turning on you all night, or, you know, you're just going to be having digestion problems. So it's a healthy timing or healthy routine again, but bad timing. So instead, if you put those habits with the right routine and the right timing, that's when you are able to create new outcomes in your life. And I swear that's the formula that I really believe can change lives, because it's hard to make changes, man. We're such creatures of habit, no matter if it's a good habit or a bad habit. So if we aren't putting ourselves in a position with the right formula, like you said, Bryce, it's just us shooting ourselves in the foot. We're going to constantly fall back into that old routine with, you know, whatever the timing might look like. And you're going to keep getting the same results. Instead, you really need to step into a situation, put the whole formula together, and then just build that routine out. Like a new routine I have, because I want to wake up early, 4 or 5 a.m. The night before, I try and wind down before like 9:30, 10 a.m. or 10 p.m. So I will get my water in my cup, put some, I get, you know, I have a weird diet. I put lemon lime in it, some Himalayan salt, and I put the cup on top of my phone, plugged in the kitchen, so that when it goes off, I have to get up and come into the kitchen, pick the water up off my phone. I already have my coffee beans in the grinder ready to just start grinding. And then, you know, my morning starting, because first thing in the morning, especially, is the hardest time to get a new routine, because you're shaking the cobwebs off. The last thing you want to do is try something new. You want to just get back in bed in that warm, cozy blanket. So I've just kind of built that in, and I've been waking up early every day for the past, you know, few months now. I've never really been a huge morning person. I kind of had a routine when I was traveling to work, but now I'm like, you know, working from home. So I need to find a way to not be tempted to go back, get under the blankets. And that formula has been key for me.
I like that formula. It's really, I feel, well, one old saying I tell some of the youngsters is, I try to beat the sun up, and then some nights I beat the sun down, and that way I start my day off with a couple wins. If I could beat the sun up and I could beat it down, then that's 2 wins is guaranteed for the day. Just to add a little humor to it. But yeah, just I feel like starting your mornings off is really integral, just especially if you're starting the mornings off with the right mindset on what you want to accomplish. It can be really powerful, and just being mindful of what energy you're bringing in.
Yep.
Like we want to bring in, like, kind of have confidence in who I'm trying to inspire, and just and have that ear just to listen, to hear people's real pains, and see how they're you if you quiet enough, if you watch carefully enough, you can kind of see how people are moving. And there's those that are the scattered minds, where they're kind of like bop 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 bop, just doing everything and won't stop. And it's like, is that really who you are, or is something eating away at you? So you're keeping yourself consciously busy to not think about what you're really dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
And I think just trying to be that point, or that person where you can just go and have that conversation. Like, yeah, I see, like, everything that you're doing is really good, but it's just sometimes just sit back and relax. It's not necessary just to kind of just like jump from one thing to the other, because we always have to remember, like, yes, we're creatures of habits and we could do great things, but we have to also be mindful of all that multitasking. You're really not if you were just to focus on that one thing for that moment, that's going to be your best effort. But if you're jumping from this and then jumping over there to that, and then jumping over there to do this and jumping over to do that, if there's people involved, are you really being your most genuine self? Or are you kind of showing them what you're dealing with them right now really isn't that important? I could do this while I'm helping you because you're really not that important.
Yeah.
And just understanding that, yeah, it's best to share ourselves with everyone.
Mm-hmm.
But we also want to be mindful that we're giving the best of us. Well, I can't even say the best of us, but the most genuine part of us to them, to make sure it's a memorable moment. I don't want to just come over here to have this interaction with you just to say that I did it. Like, I want you to feel that I'm really adding value to what we're doing right now. And just being mindful of that is really crucial. And I think it's critical in life.
Yeah, have a human element to it, like connect, have some spirit to it. Like, I think that's what really gives you a lasting impression. Like, look people in the eye. Like, don't be afraid to walk up to somebody and really learn about them, genuinely care about what their life story is. Because so often you step into a conversation, you share, oh, I'm doing this work. And then they just, oh, well, yeah, I'm doing this work, and take the conversation and go running with it. The next thing you know, it's just this almost a competition. I do this. Well, I do that like this.
Yeah.
And, oh, well, my kid was doing that. Oh, I did that too. And it's just, instead, I love to sit back and literally fire off questions. And you can tell when people, they have that same interest to learn about you, but it's so key to truly connect with somebody, to have a question ready to ask them, like genuinely be ready to be curious about their background. Otherwise, it's just going to be these I don't know, these empty interactions that you're going to constantly have. And, these connections are lost. You very well could have met someone who you can build with, or, at least be friends, a new friendship in times where people need friends, good circle around them. It's hard to find these days.
And I just think, like, creating those positive relationships instill trust for sure. It's like, it shows consistency, the accountability, the dependability, all these variables that, kind of correlate to the word trust. So when you tie all those in, you just kind of, you just know what you're getting out of a person. And when you begin to lean onto that trust, it just, what they bring to the table. I know what time it is when I'm involved with this person. I can trust on whatever you lean on to that person for, to trust in. You know what I'm saying? Like, if it's like, let me go talk to this individual because I know they're going to keep it blunt and real. Like, if that's what you need at that moment in time, whatever you're going through, which, that's the direction you go to. So I think it's definitely about creating those relationships, understanding those relationships of who you have in your life and, around you, to help you, to keep you centered, to keep you well-rounded, and keep you honest. And you know what I'm saying? So you don't want to overspill to one end or the other. You want to stay, like you said, centered, just centered as a whole, as a being, not to overdo and do everything in moderation. So
facts. I love this quote from DMX. He says, trust people to be who they are. Trust a snake to be a snake. Trust a liar to be a liar. Trust a lover to be a lover. And don't act surprised when they are who they are. It's literally like, people's, habits from the past, or how they have been. So don't be surprised when they do what they've always done. Give people a chance to change, but give them a chance to change on their own time and their own time. Like, don't constantly be the rug that, people are going to get their legs under them on. You gotta be, a little bit of a hand. I'll help you stand up, but I can't keep getting pulled down. But also, understand the people who are going to be there to give you a hand up, and don't take for granted, because that might be the last hand they give you. You gotta like really expect, if you're asking for a hand up, don't continue to expect that hand every time you need one. Like, eventually you gotta stand up and stay up, and now you gotta go return that favor to the community, or help somebody, give them a hand up. Like, that's really what building looks like. I truly believe.
Yeah, I think that even goes back to what you were saying earlier about the timing and the habit. Like, when you ask for that help, you need to make sure the timing is right, not only for you, but also for them.
Oh yeah.
Like, they might be in a bad place when you ask that question, but then you might not be fully prepared, and you need to understand that before you go in. Like, am I really prepared for this? And even if you think that you are, you have to be understanding the fact maybe they don't think you. Maybe it's something that they don't see in you yet that makes them feel confident in being able to extend that hand out. That doesn't mean the door is closed. It's more so that you just go back, sit back, and see and identify what it is that you're missing.
Yep.
Because there might be something that you're missing, but then also make sure that you have your circle for feedback, that you have another point of view, a point of contact over here, another point of contact over here. This is your primary point of contact, but you have some other people that are kind of familiar with the area in the field, and another person over here. So find out from their perspective what they would do, and then find out from their perspective what they would do. And then also, when you reach out, if right now isn't a good time, can you provide me on some feedback on what I can work on until the time is right? Like, don't take it personal that I can't get help right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, have that mindset to think, like, if right now isn't a good time, what can I continue to do to be prepared when the time is right? And then that way that person's like, you're really serious about this. That's what I need to hear. So you know what? This time is right.
Yep,
Right.
exactly.
I think nobody want to waste time. Right. No, I just think that's big. This is, when we deal with people, they want to know that you're serious about yourself for the most part. They're not going to take time or take a break out of what they're doing if they're unsure about you. But to reassure them is just like how you said, letting them know, like, it's a simple phrase like that. Like, whenever it is time, I'm waiting for your feedback. I am still interested in it. Just because it's not right now for you, I'll be pending. I'll be waiting for when it is good for you. It's so important for me to get this vital information to work on myself, or whatever the cause is.
Facts. It's like, don't be afraid to be persistent. Ask for that advice, and if they don't give it to you on the first try, don't take it personal. People are busy. We're more busy than we've ever been. We're not necessarily as productive as we've ever been, but we are very busy because there's just so many different things going on all at once. We're coming out of a pandemic. People are ready to get out and be active. Don't take it personal if someone doesn't react on or doesn't respond on that first attempt. But be persistent. Come back around, circle back around a few weeks later, and remind them, hey, just wanted to circle back and see if it's, a better time for, just to share some feedback, because I'm serious about this. Last time I reached out to you, I shared this, maybe like piece of content for us, for example, when we share these episodes with our peers, we're doing this every week. We got some momentum going. So last time I reached out to you, we were on this episode. This week, we just talked about trust and what that looks like in our community, and, trust in the process. And I really would love to hear what you think about it. That's what helps you get the results that you're looking for. Like within sales specifically, you want to reach out to a prospect, someone who could potentially buy whatever service that you have, at least 3 to 4 times. The average amount of follow-ups that it takes to close a deal, they say, is at least like 5 times. So you just have to have that within your head. You might eventually get them to listen to your demo video or whatever it may be. And then they say, you know what, you're onto something. I like what you're doing. Let's talk. And you might have a conversation, and then they might fall off again. That's when you start it all over. You be persistent once again. Give them some time in between the outreach, but circle back. You really have to be about yourself, about your business.
Right.
Like, take yourself serious in order to get others to take you serious. Like, don't give up on the first try. You get up to at bat when you playing baseball, what you swing once, miss the ball, and say, you know what, this ain't for me. You got at least 3 strikes and 4 balls, buddy. You better keep going shooting for the fences, because this is life. This is your life.
Pretty much.
Straight up.
One thing I learned is definitely like, if you'll forget, people will forget. So if you're not going to remind them, why do they need to remind you? Maybe a loved one. It's a rare occasion that a loved one, someone who's very dear to you, might remind you, like, hey, stay on it. Let's just give you that little nudge. But for the most part, if you'll forget, people will forget. So that's when it also ties into consistency. The consistency just demonstrates the ability to basically walk that talk that you're saying, and understanding execution and completion of what you say what this person says they'll do will be done on a constant basis, of the follow through, constant, like all these things have to be constantly done. And it just demonstrates the consistency, and a person can, it just build that's I think a big thing of building the trust, building up to the trust. Like we identify little key things in individuals that just stand out to us, and it's like it just creates that in us, in our head, that we can trust that you're going to do at least this A, B, and C, and we know that we can rely on you in this department, in this regard. So yeah, just like you said, that persistency, that consistency, all those tie into just having that self-trust and trusting.
Yep. A really good quote from Oprah Winfrey, who I think is like a leader in our community. People have, some mixed opinions, but I think she's a great role model for how to connect with people on like a true human level. She says, honor your calling, because everyone has one, and you have to trust your heart, and success will come to you. I think that is just, goes with what we've mentioned about trusting your heart and believing that success is going to come as long as you are persistent with the results that you want to obtain. You have to wake up every day and just focus solely on moving the needle forward. There are going to be days where it goes backwards. That happens in life. You're not going to have a perfect record for your entire, life or a year. You're going to have days where it feels like you have a setback, but that's still setting you up for a platform to launch off of and move forward at a higher rate, because you have now discovered the way not to continue progress. You've figured out a new way that's not going to work for you. So now that's not the path I'm going to go. That's just life. I think I really wanted to throw that quote in because, Black History Month, but also just, these women in our lives and our community are really some role models for us to follow. Like, oftentimes, like you were saying, Rick, you look to other men and, the other big brothers in the community, but even some of these sisters show us how to be, real ones, how to walk strong. And it's important for us to not, fall off just based on the gender. Like, I know, my lady realer than a lot of these, I'm not going to say the word, but, Jay-Z's quote, man, like, it's real. There's a lot of women out here realer than the dudes. A lot.
Sure.
Don't be surprised by that.
Yeah, I think that's definitely factual. I mean, even when you think about it, just the connection the three of us have with our mother, like she definitely led the way on how to be a leader, and also more so importantly, just part of our dream, reaching back. Like she was always consistent in reaching back, giving back to others, doing for us, doing for family, doing for friends, being vocal, like all that stuff. So you learn how to learn through your parents and through their experiences, but more so just kind of understanding their story and how you can align yourself with their story and kind of, as I always say, do it for your legacy and just build up, because it's like their foundation, the story before them was a certain extension of their experiences. So now we're able to take those experiences and kind of take it to the next level. And they'll be the same for our seed. And just kind of those that we have the chance to encounter and have the opportunity to be engaged with, they see how we move and how we make decisions. And then hopefully they'll be able to be inspired and see, like, they'll be able to put their Rick or Bryce or Royce hat on and be like, yeah, if I was Rick in this moment, this is how he would have seen it. And more so, that's really what it's just about, just being able to help inspire others and see it not just from their point of view, but let me look at it from a different point of view. Because with the lane that I'm looking in, like, I can understand it, but even when we're driving on the freeway, there's multiple lanes, so it's which lane works for you. And even in that lane, like, if I'm in this lane, can I make it more powerful by allowing more people in this lane to be in this lane with me, and we all go along this journey? It's kind of like when you see the packs of people that are on the little Corvette clubs and all this and that. Like, they're all in the same car. They have that connection with the cars and the Hellcats. Like, we're all able to get together on our motorcycles, and we're all able to take this journey together. Like, yeah, I can get there faster by myself. What was that?
Nah, you forgot my whip, man. The
Oh,
Honda Accord Club, bro.
yeah,
we
the
strong
Camry
out here,
cars,
man.
you know.
Strength
Yeah,
in numbers.
the eco, the economy cars, like, we're all out here, but it's like they all have that brotherhood.
Yep.
And we're able to just get around,
move together.
Yeah, just like we can all move as one. And I think that's something that our culture has lost, is that we're so focused on self, like, yeah, I can get over there, like, I can run from here and there a lot faster. But if I'm running from here to there with everyone with me, how much more powerful is that if we're all united? And just having that mindset. Yeah, I can get there alone. I could do it a lot quicker by myself. But is that really a challenge just to do it by myself? But what if I could build up everyone else's morale and we all do this together and build it, as opposed to me just doing it by myself? Because then that might just be ego.
Yeah. Make it a journey or a race. So it's your choice. You do it on your own, you just racing through time, racing through life. When you do it with others, now you're on a journey. Now you can sit back and, share the experiences with others, so you can remember this for the rest of your life. And something you can always come back to. And then they can remember it too. Exactly. Something you can always come back to. Like, remember that time we went out to Vegas and had to wheelchair Marco out of the club? Like, that was an experience. We had a good time. We had such a good time, man. We had to put our homie back in bed when we had to get him there. Well, you got him there. We stayed back, but those kind of. But the thing is,
we got him two in there. We got him there and back safely. That's the biggest thing. You can't go on a journey and then leave people behind, man.
Yeah, especially not at their own bachelor party. Especially not their own bachelor party. Can't leave the bachelor, the soon-to-be groom, back at the club or the hotel. But nah, those kind of journeys, man. These life experiences. You work hard, you play hard, you get to share all of that with each other.
Mm-hmm. I mean, even think about the late Dr. Martin Luther King. Like, his journey involved the whole world. So, like, even though we lost him, there's still people that were alive and experienced those stories. So his story continues to live on because they are a part of it. So it never goes quiet because they're able to reshare his story. So that way, through his story and those experiences that everyone was involved in, he's still living with us.
Facts. You live through your legendary moments, you live through your legacy, you live through your story. You really have to live your story out here, man. I'm so ready to write a book with y'all. We got mom working on hers. Like, we got to put this on wax. We have to share this with the generations to come, because I really think we're on to the recipe. I think we're on to a real, formula, like you said, Bryce, that can be replicated. So, yeah, this was a good conversation. I don't have too much more. I don't know if you guys had some quotes y'all wanted to throw in. Black History Month, power to all people. We love everybody, but for February this month, we like to highlight some of the great accomplishments of our folks. Within the background that we see some of the James Baldwin work, some of the we got the Martin Luther King book up there, Malcolm X. It's it's always a good time to reflect on the legendary folks who walked before us, cleared the path, so we can take it further.
That's how we keep their name alive and empowered, man. Just speaking back to the truths and to what they've done for us and the what they've paved for us, man. We're just following that route and just tapping in with our inner strengths and our collaborations, and we're just gonna continue to raise this bar like we're doing and having these high intellectual, high level conversations, man. And my thing is I push everyone, all circles of life, all circle of peers and groups to have these conversations. It's nothing where you could shoot the with all the other topics. And
right.
I just, I push our people to just continue to have these high level conversations, man, and continue to rise and level up and just grow as a being.
Yep. Set the example. That's what I really believe we're doing here. We got a lot of people who know some great knowledge that they can share. So use your voice. I look forward. We're going to bring on some guests here in the next few weeks. Speak to some people in our community that can share, on topics that we probably aren't close to having the same level of wisdom. So it's important for us to go find people who can present and provide more than we can, because, we are human. We can only do so much. And that's, again, when you need to trust in your circle and trust in your community. So I look forward to doing that. I really do.
Yes, indeed.
And we hope that you listening in who been with us week in and week out. We hope that we're providing some knowledge that you feel is helpful for either you or for people in your family, your community. And we love to kind of hear some feedback. And if you'd like to continue getting notified for future conversations we have, please go ahead, subscribe, and share a review or a comment, hit the like button, do all that cool stuff. And we're going to continue to just try and have good quality conversations, dialogue in the near future. Do you want to wrap this up, Rick?
Yeah, so I'd like to just end it with saying that I have my HBCU sweater on for Southern University. And I'd like to just give acknowledgement to one of our Black inventors, and that's Frederick McKinley Jones. And he created the air conditioning unit. And just going to school in the South, the air conditioning unit was very crucial. So hey, shout out to him, because that was a necessity in that hot, humid weather in Louisiana. Man. And it's amazing. He was from Cincinnati, Ohio. It was like, I didn't know heat hit like that in Cincinnati, but maybe he relocated.
Yeah.
But yeah, the gentleman was born on May 17th, 1893, and he passed away in February 21st of 1961 at the age 67.
Wow.
So, man, that's crazy to think. Like, he was born in the early 19 or the late 1900s, would that be? And lived in 1961.
Man.
Yeah, that's just imagine the transition of life from the early 1900s to right before 1970.
Yeah.
That's a pretty long life, even though it's only 6 to 7 years. But hey, I hope to live to be able to experience 6 to 7 worth of years of life on this earth.
It was clearly, he made some, quality inventions. We're still using his technology to this date. Right. So it's not about how much time you're here. It's about what you're doing with that time here.
Exactly.
So yeah, shout out to him. I definitely like using my AC. And he was born in Cincinnati. Speaking of Cincinnati and the Rams for Super Bowl tomorrow, who you guys take?
There we go.
I'm definitely going with Cincinnati.
Oh, yeah, that sounds like a 49ers response. Rick, you going the same?
Cincinnati does have 2 LSU cats. And then the one for
bless you.
And then the one for the Rams.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, I think they got a nice connection. I was reading this little blog where it said Jamar Chase, when they got drafted by the Bengals, he went and walked up and down the neighborhood that Joe Burrow lived in, asking if he could buy anyone's house. And he finally found someone with a house that they would sell it to him in Joe Burrow's neighborhood. So I think they got a connection right there. I think they might be able to do something great tomorrow.
Yeah. They are obviously a force to be reckoned with. But I'm going to take these Rams, man. I think you guys sleeping on it, or it's just still, in denial after that defeat, unfortunately, the weekend before last. But
man,
Matt Stafford
in
that receiving core, man. Matt Stafford in that Rams receiving core, they're a different breed. I don't know. We're going to see Cooper Kupp, Odell Beckham. We're going to see. We're going to see.
We're definitely going to see. It's going to be a good one, nonetheless.
Yeah. Yep.
Definitely will be entertaining.
Yep, and we got Valentine's Day coming up, so let's enjoy this weekend. Yeah, it's always good talking with you guys.
For sure.
Most definitely appreciate it.
All right, well, I'll see you guys soon. Y'all have a good one.
Definitely. All right, love you guys.
Love you too, bro.
What's up, world?
I just wanted to take a quick second and let you know that this podcast is brought to you in part by Capital One. I've been a customer of Capital One for years, and I initially started with subpar credit, to be honest. I was coming straight out of college and had to have some humble beginnings. And luckily, Capital One was willing to work with me. I learned good habits of paying on time every time and keeping my usage low until I eventually 10x'd my credit line. So not only is Capital One a solid credit card company, but there are also a ton of perks like cash back on purchases you make and free access to working cafes like the one I'm in right now. So if you're looking to build your credit for business or personal or both, check out the link in the description below. And if you have any questions, feel free to give me a shout. Peace.